अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुष्कर भव सागर तरणम गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय स्वामीनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः अज्ञानान्तर्गहन पतितान् आत्मविद्योपदेशैः त्रातुं लोकान् भवदवशिखा तापपापच्यमानान् मुक्त्वा मौनं वटविटपिनो मूलतो निस्सरन्ति शम्भोर्मूर्तिश्चरति भुवने शंकराचार्य रूपा मौन व्याख्या प्रकटित पर ब्रह्म तत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धाः शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः माया कल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। Hरि Om friends, welcome to this Vichara Sadhana Satsanga, and we are with Acharya and Gurudev in Dakshinamurthy Stotram. We are on second verse, talking about the creation, and we have covered 12 paras so far. We'll just to warm ourselves up in the discussion. I'm reading this 12th para again. The word play of creation, sustenance and destruction is available as our experiences only during our state of delusion, and they are all ever in him only. Remember, the apparent snake, crevice, stick and garland are all delusions of the one and the same reality, the rope. Only two statements are there. Both statements are important, but the first one is more important. The word play of creation, sustenance, etc., is available as our experiences only during our state of delusion. And they are all ever in him only. The two important things are suggested here. So they are in our state of delusion. What does that mean? Which is this state of delusion now? For the individual, the state of delusion, which allows him to get the experiences.
Delusion is to consider something real which is not real. And here we have seen that like snake is not real, but because of the rope it is possible to see snake. So this world is also like that. Because Brahman is there, we are able to see that due to delusion only, but because Brahman is present as its Adhar or Adhishtan, we say. So world is there. Another example, like we have seen the water or the sea and the waves. So waves are nothing but the sea only. But because of the delusion, we are able to see waves over there. So whatever is there, not to understand it properly is delusion.
So, but then it is universal, it seems. It's not that you and I only see the world and others are seeing that as Brahman. That is one thing.
It is universal because effect of Maya is also universal.
So now,
And those who
delusion
are
is
those who are realized, they also see the same thing, but they understand, their understanding is different.
okay. Still, the answer is not clear. What is the state of delusion? What we are seeing when you refer to the snake, etc., instead of rope, it is illusion. The snake has an illusory appearance. The delusion is usually in the mind of the person who is perceiving. Due to the delusory mind, the illusory appearance of snake, crevice, garland, etc. are seen, where the rope is the reality. So there is a reality on which the deluded mind superimposes. Okay, and the deluded mind, the state of delusion is what is referred here, not the deluded mind. But here it is referred, the word play of creation, etc., is available as our experiences, because we are experiencing, we are accepting it as real. Because that which is only can be experienced, that which is not cannot be experienced. So our experiences only during the state of delusion. What is the state of delusion in which all these whatever is apparent, like crevice, etc., is experienced. So since it is experienced, whatever is there has to be experienced. Since therefore the existence to crevice, garland is becomes valid, and the person sees that they are real. So there
So
is
we have seen
some.
that two powers, Avaran and Vikshep, so they are acting in the mind.
That is okay. How the mind gets deluded is okay. Influences over the mind. But state of delusion, and coming back to, I want a precise answer. This is the state of delusion.
So if my nature is, I am not understanding, I don't know my nature, and I consider something else as my nature. Therefore, I consider myself as body or mind or intellect or perceivable feeler, thinker, like that. So limited individual. Therefore, I see others also as limited, and then this is state of delusion.
But this has happened to everyone
Yes.
without exception. All are seeing the same object as such. Understanding may differ. Here it is due to delusion, understanding is misunderstanding. There the man of knowledge will have a clear understanding in spite of appearance. Then can we say he is in a state of delusion, the man of realization? No, we cannot say. But he is in the very same world, and in the same circumstances, situation. He sees the things as they are in spite of its different appearance, whereas the different appearance itself is taken as real by the ignorant one. So then what is the waking? What, I said it now, waking state is the state of delusion. Trying to explain. All the three states are mithya because they are coming and they are going. None of them is permanent. So state of delusion is a state of waking. In the waking state, we see the world of objects. So here that is Swamiji never uses the same word like a professor who uses the same terms all the time. Parrot like. So here there is no such thing. All are scientific terms, but he uses not the same term every time. So here he says the state of delusion is a state of waking. During the waking state is otherwise called a delusory state, where you are taking the appearances as real. So the waking dream state and deep sleep state, since they one after the other come and go, therefore none of them are real, therefore they are delusory. But the dream state can be uh, positively concluded as delusory, imaginary, etc., false by the ego. But the ego himself is not able to falsify the waking world. He takes it as real. But the Vedantins call even this state is also a state of delusion. In case of deep sleep, there is no question because none of these things are there in the deep sleep state. But dream and waking, all the three states are mithya because none of them are permanent. But the effect of waking state is more as far as the appearance as real is concerned. Really, because there is a consistency in the world. There is no consistency in our dream world. But here, what we saw yesterday, today we can see the same thing in the outer world. Ordinarily, all the structures, mountains, etc., surroundings, they don't change. Every day I can see the same thing. Therefore, Mr. Ego says that the world is real. So I do not know about the self and the God, etc., but the world is real. That he is confirmed. He falsifies the dream world, but he cannot falsify the waking world. And appreciate that this is a state of delusion. So in your explanation, when you say perceiver, I feeler, I thinker, I, that is the reason, main reason why the state of delusion is taken as real. So in the waking state, so therefore this is the first thing, the state of delusion we have seen. The next one is our experiences is available as our experiences. This is another thing to be reconsidered as our revision. Is available as our experiences. When we are experiencing, the rule tells us that which exists only will be experienced. That which really exists will be experienced. Now we know that what we see do not really exist, and still we experience it. We experience it in the waking world with all objects, etc. And we know that all these objects are subject to change. Entire world is subject to change. And still we are experiencing it. This is apparent controversy. That which is experienced. That which was not and which will not be and which appears to be will not be experienced. And still we experience it. What is the reason? That which has a substantial existence only will be experienced. None of them have the substantial existence. They are all subject to change. Until we experience them. How? When we narrow our area of observation and try to see the reasoning there, then the concepts will become very, very clear. We are analytically approaching this para. First we saw what is the state of delusion. Swamiji has said state of delusion. We discussed that. It is only waking state. And all the three states are states of delusion because they are subject to change. This is one. Second one is that available for our experience. If it is delusory, does not exist, non-existent, how the non-existent objects are experienced is the next one. Yes, who would like to answer? When the things are non-existent, so illusory, because they are projected by the delusory mind, then how they are experienced? We will experience only that which is.
This all the things which are changing, they have a substratum which is not changing.
So
So that is why at that particular moment they are there. Though I am not able to understand it properly, but the substratum is ever present. I am understanding it in a different way. That is my delusion.
okay, your first answer is correct because there is a substratum. If substratum is there, then substratum should be experienced, not that which is superimposed on that.
But that is because of the delusion in my mind. Because same example of rope and snake, there is all the time rope is present and snake is never present, but still because of the illusion, I can see snake over there.
Illusion, when we see it is there in the perceptible. When you say illusion, it is perceptible to the delusory mind or individual as snake. Therefore, it is perceptible.
But even though it is perceptible, it doesn't exist. And it exists because there is substratum of rope. So
now,
existence of snake is in my mind, actually in my mind.
So now this is difficult to understand. If it is in my mind, how do I experience there at the rope? And if I experience the rope, if I experience it as a snake, then it should be real. Then you said because the substratum is real, we are therefore able to experience it. Now, if substratum is real, then we should be able to experience the real. This is our second question. First consideration is okay, all right. State of delusion is state of waking, dream, deep sleep. All states are delusion, but only dream state is falsified as illusory, imaginary, whereas waking state is not falsified by the ego as illusory. So we gave the answer that because the substratum is there, therefore we have experience. But then we should experience the substratum, which is there. But we experience the delusory things only as existent when they are non-existent. How do you resolve this apparent controversy or difference?
But mind projects it on the rope. Mind projects the snake.
That is what Moini also said, that the snake is in the mind, delusory mind, which is projected or superimposed on the rope. But point is not what is projected. That is delusory, all right, because it is superimposition. But then why snake is experience, not the rope? You are superimposing, all right, but it should not be experienced. Here it is said, available for your experience. Available for experience, that means it is provided. You are going to experience this non-existent thing. One answer is that there is a substratum. Therefore, we are experiencing it.
That substratum itself is giving reality to the snake for the time being.
Very good. This is how the discussion leads to a right direction for the answer. Substratum appears as snake crevice, Why 3-4 things are given there? Because to one individual it may look like snake, another individual it may look like something different than what it is. So then what it is appears like that. So the rope itself appears like a snake for one. Theory of superimposition is okay in the background. But now when it is said it's available for our experience, when it is said, instead of experiencing that which exists, we are experiencing that which is non-existent. Why? So the reason is that the substratum itself appears as snake or crevice according to the individual concept. So the substratum itself, wherever he is saying this is snake, he is actually touching the rope, whatever he is indicating. So the rope itself appears as snake or crevice or garland, etc. This is second aspect. And now we go to the another one, next one in the same para. Remember, the apparent snake, crevice, stick, garland are all delusions of the one and the same reality. Here it is indicated. It is one and the same reality which is appearing as delusions, different delusions. So because of the delusory mind superimposing, and the same reality is appearing as differently according to the concepts of the perceiver. This is one. And one more thing I wanted to see if there is anything balanced. One we have discussed is the state of delusion, another is our experiences, available for our experiences. And remember when it is said, the third aspect is, and they are all ever in him only. This is the most important aspect. They are all ever in him only. What does that indicate? Him means what? And how they are in him.
Him means Paramatma.
Okay.
So the from the awareness onwards, the Maya starts projecting. Because then we can say that the Maya is in the potential form in the awareness, and
Okay.
that is why.
Once you said Paramatma, now you are saying awareness. Awareness is the very nature of Paramatma.
Paramatma.
Paramatma is pure existence.
Yes.
And the awareness is
Nature.
what is that?
Nature.
Purana. Purana, technical.
Satta and Spurana, we say.
Satta means pure existence. Purana is pure knowledge. But pure knowledge, not as the one level where with Brahman. Here it is with awareful being, whose contents are awareness. So this awareful being is called Paramatma, and whose nature is awareness. Okay, so now here it is said that now him is clear, right? Now they are all ever in him only. What does that mean? They are all in him only.
In the potential form, the world is in him.
Only potential form, not actually.
It is the Maya draws power from him and then projects out.
Okay, agreed. Now power from him and project. Project where? In him only.
Project
that is
on
what is
him.
suggested. How? How is it? And who projects? And where it is projected? These concepts are We have to repeatedly think and make it clear for ourselves, because without that we cannot proceed further. The creation is a very tricky thing. So many theories of creation, and Acharya has, with the help of Advaita Vedanta, has refuted all other theories. And what is mentioned here is the last word on creation. So before we go to the Shankara's explanation of creation that he is trying to describe here, we are trying to understand with the help of Swamiji's terms. So the first term, second term, both the terms we have seen. First term is that we have seen that how it is a state of delusion, then available for our experience. And now we are saying that during the state of delusion, and they all are ever in him only. This is the third aspect we are trying to understand. They are all.
There is one verse in Gita also where Lord says that they are in me and I am not in them.
But here it is not said like that.
But they are in him is said. So for that example of ocean is there, that all the waves are in ocean. They rise from ocean and they fall back to ocean. But ocean is not in waves.
Ocean is not in wave. Meaning
a wave cannot contain the whole ocean. But ocean has all the waves and still more ocean is also there.
There is no question on the part of wave. Ocean cannot be as small as wave.
Yes.
That is the answer. So this is more or less very close to the answer. Therefore, unless there is some question, we cannot continue the discussion. But we can say that now this answer is correct. We are going towards the answer, and for that this explanation is okay. They are in me, I am not in them. Okay. So in that case, what you say, they are all means the snake, crevice, etc. are in me, the rope, but rope is not in the snake. Snake is in the rope. So we have already discussed this, that rope itself is appearing like snake. Okay. Now they are all in him, it is said. This we are trying to understand now. They are all in him. So don't continue further that he is not in them and they are in him. This is a different comparison, different reference to context. Here, what we are trying to understand is this, that if it is by the deluded mind, it is projected on the reality, crevice, garland, snake, etc. Then it is said it is in him only, ever in him. That delusory person and all this is, they are all redirected to the right point now. They are all ever in him. All these imaginations are ever in him.
Because all the non-living things are illuminated, and living things, the reality reflects in their subtle body. So the deluded person,
non-real are eliminated.
Illuminated.
Illuminated.
Non-living, they get illuminated, and living get reflected. That Atman gets reflected in living things. So the source is same for both of them. So the deluded person itself is also in him, and whatever is the delusion, the rope or snake, that is also in him.
Oh my God. There is nobody to challenge you here. All are keeping quiet. Is it acceptable to everyone?
That we
Now
have
when you say
seen that
illumine,
transcendent.
now when you say when you say illumine, who illumines them?
Means all the three levels in that, if we want to see, then it is one step down Brahman. So, infinite consciousness.
No, no.
No?
From that awareness, consciousness is okay. They illumine.
Hmm.
Because light of infinite awareness, light of all pervasive witness consciousness. Instead light, we can say illumining. Okay. Now illumining is one thing, but the sustaining them. If it is illumined, I can perceive it. In the darkness, I can't perceive anything. There is no chance of any delusion. It is neither dark nor the day.
But that transcendental and another word is immanent. So the consciousness is illumining also, and in and through it is there. So that sustaining also is on that part. Sustenance.
Then what? When we say all are in Him, what do we mean to say? All are in consciousness or awareness?
Yes.
Consciousness or awareness is only illumining them for my perception.
We have seen Adhar and Adhishtan.
So which one you want to use? Adhishtan.
Yes.
But you are at least trying to at least express what are your ideas, so I can come to know what exactly is the
How much is ignorance?
Sometimes the knowledge in the world, knowledge only reveals the limits of ignorance. They only illumine the ignorance. How much ignorant we are. Here it is Vedanta. So it's not illumining ignorance. It's only a little misunderstanding, or you are missing some point. That's all. It has not come to your attention immediately. So if you persistently think over, it will strike. Now, if serpent will be seen only with some light, may not be full light. If it is as clear as daylight when we say, then there is no chance for confusion. If there is pitch darkness, there is no chance of perceiving it as even as a snake. But it is neither a daylight nor a pitch dark. It is twilight. And in twilight, there are a lot of chances to misunderstand because it is not clearly illumining. So this illumination, whether complete, half, or no illumination, it only will affect the perception. But that it exists there, and it is said, all these are in Him. And Him you said as Paramatma. Now, can you say that the awareness is Paramatma? No. So illumining is one aspect, and that is support aspect, and substratum aspect is the existence. Pure existence, pure knowledge. Satta Spuranam. The Spuranam illumines, but Satta offers the substratum, without which the relative existence of the snake cannot be experienced. So now we want to understand how everything is in Him. Clue number 1, verse number 1.
In our dream state also, we can compare this, that whatever things and beings are there, they are in ourselves or in our mind.
In our
mind.
Mind. So mind, can mind be said as substratum?
Yes. And light of consciousness is there to illuminate. Reflect.
Clue number 2, the movie where the film is illumined by light but substrated by the screen. So all projections are on the screen only, all the time. And if they are seen, it is because of the light, which is supporting. So light illumination is the support, and substratum, which is existence, the existence, because of which even the relative existence, which is non-existent, in other words, even relative existence is experienced because it is substrated by the pure existence. And if we are able to perceive that, it is because it is illumined by pure knowledge. Pure knowledge is light of awareness, which illumines our experiences, and therefore we are conscious of our experiences of the snake. But they are all projected on in him. So now we have to equate the parallel, the rope, the reality. Then the illumination of that for our perception and experience. So the reality is equal to, you have said already, Shobha, in the beginning, you have said it. But now we have to understand how all the projections are in him only, always, ever. This is really so effectively presented that we will have to consider piece by piece and give a justice to it. So when that is over, that clause is over, then it says, and, what is that? And they all are ever in him only. So him is equal to, play number one is verse number one.
No,
Brahman.
him is equal to the reflection of Brahman in Maya.
What is that?
Reflection is reflection of Brahman in Maya. That reflection is him,
Called as
Paramatma.
Paramatma is okay. You have said it in the beginning, I told you. That is the correct answer. But all the projections are in him. Here, what is used here, word here? All what you see or project or superimpose, they are all in him only. So in Paramatma only. Awareness will illumine my experiences. Consciousness will illumine the snake, etc. And the snake, etc. are always in the substratum. Therefore, substratum itself appears as, this is one understanding. And the second understanding is all projections are in Paramatma only. So, substratum or adhisthana is Paramatma. Don't go to Brahman at all. Don't use the word Brahman. Brahman is so independent, there is no chance. It is its reflection with which the Maya is playing the trick. The reflection. Reflection of Brahman in Maya is called Ishvaraha, otherwise here called as Paramatma. Brahman is not to be used immediately. It is a reserved thing. It is independent, without a second. There is no second in it. But when Maya appears in it as its inherent power, then the process starts. Not immediately. Immediately it cannot be, because Brahman never considered Maya as something different. It is within itself as part of it, not different from it. Only when Brahman becomes conscious of the power, that there is a tendency for the split, subject-object. Conscious of, when it is said, is an object of my consciousness. So then Maya is able to receive the reflection. Then the reflection and Maya. This reflection is called as Ishvaraha, is called as creator, and otherwise called as Paramatma. So this Paramatma is being capitalized by the reflecting medium called as Maya. So all the projections are in him only when he say immediate reference is Paramatma. Because existence, pure knowledge is at this moment at our level immediately. And they all derive their origin, derive from the absolute existence and the eternal existence and infinite knowledge. That is the higher level, next level. There nothing has happened. At the level of Brahman and its inherent power Maya, nothing has happened. Maya has taken the reflection away. And the reflection has got similar resembling powers of Paramatma, of Brahman, and therefore those powers are being capitalized by the reflecting medium Maya. And what is projected by Maya is again upon the Paramatma only, not anywhere else. Then I said verse number 1 as reference. Pashan Atmani Mayaya. Mayaya Bahirivod Bhutam. But first, all these projections are in Atman only. So, at the individual level, when you say that the Mr. Ego under the spell of delusion is superimposing the world outside of his own private world outside, he doesn't know what the actual world is as it is. It is not there. It is again, the projection is on the self. But Maya plays the trick and bring it out as though it is outside. So the Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Atmani Pashyan. So here Atma is the substratum on which the consciousness illumined concept is being projected on the Atman. Individual level, totality level, the Paramatma is the base on which again the different worlds, whatever are the appearances, are being projected on Paramatma. This is individual level, total level. And this will be merged later when the person will realize that Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. There he will become Sarvatma and afterwards Paramatma. Sarva and Madatma and Sarvatma only reference to Upadhi. Mine is Alpa Upadhi, Madatma. That is Sarva Upadhi, Sarvatma. But before both of them belong to Paramatma. So this is how the levels of reality and levels of consciousness are to be appreciated. So that a concept at a given level is thrashed out, then we are available to go to the higher level. Now, whether
So
this is
that
clear.
means unless there is a world in Paramatma in the potential form, Maya cannot project it. If Maya has to draw power, Maya is getting only power and then it's projecting out. Because
so this provision, what you are saying, is that provision is there potentially in Brahman.
That's what. So that means all the forms are there in Paramatma. The potential form.
So no, potential, when you say it is Maya and Brahman.
Yes.
Potentially, possibilities are there in them. Yes. But when actually Maya is able to reflect Brahman, then only she is able to materialize further.
Yes. Yes.
In Brahman, all the potentialities are possible, but they never happen there because Brahman never considers it as different. But the possibilities are materialized by Maya. As such, it is very difficult to understand. We need to revise. Acharya has introduced this Maya as a factor in between to answer all the related to the creation. Why and wherefore of the creation is answered in Advaita philosophy by introduction of the special term Maya, so that the Brahman is not involved. And with reference to Brahman, Paramatma, Purusha, in case of Purusha Prakriti in Gita, here it is Paramatma, and different words of equal, or creator is another word. So they are all at one level. Which one? Paramatma, Ishvara, Purusha, etc. They are all reflections in the medium of Maya. And Brahman is not reflection to anything. Brahman itself is the only absolute truth. Word used by Swamiji is truth for that. That is eternal. It cannot be challenged by anything, because that alone is. One step down, the Maya makes the Brahman conscious of it. And thus the split starts. Subject-object split is just initiated. But when she receives the reflection of Brahman, then Maya draws the power from that reflection and projects on to that Paramatma, the reflection. But these all are reflections, and they are not valid without Brahman. Therefore, the ultimate credit is given to Brahman, but we need to understand this detailing. When Swamiji makes the statement, he has not said anything about Brahman. Has he said here anything? No. So here his satta is the word introduced, which means pure existence. We'll see that, but at this moment we are only warmed up for the discussion. So in this, the changes in the world, creation, sustenance, etc., the play, it's a play available for our experiences only during our state of delusion, and they are all ever in Him only. H capital because of Paramatma, the pure existence. They are all parda, the screen of the movie is something which does not change. It is ever the same. Your projection is not going to affect that. But the projections are substrated by the screen and supported by the light, so that the spectator can see that. Is it all right? This requires, this warming up is required, because again the new further subtler ideas will be introduced. Then we cannot fall back to see what is what. Already we have revised. Now, is there anything left out in this? So when this main sentence is discussed, then Swamiji is alerting us, remember the apparent snake, crayfish, stick and garland are all delusions on the one and the same reality, the rope. Therefore, everything is projected on the rope. Similarly, this entire world of names and forms are projected on the Paramatma. Because the rope, when you say rope as reality, there are so many objects. One of them is rope. So to perceive the rope as rope means the individual has no problem. To perceive the rope as snake, individual has another problem, deluded mind. But the rope itself is one of the several objects of the world. Who created them? So that is there the creator comes. And how he created all these forms is the next question which we have to see it now. Right? So now I go to the 13th para. Since Ishvara creates the world of plurality with the help of his Maya, Ishvarat Maya, his pronoun, Maya power, and since The very material cause, upadana karana, is Maya only. Here, how Acharya is introducing Maya factor. Maya only. The theories of creation, such as act of creation, Arambhavad, we have discussed already. The modification, Sankhya's Parinamavad. And lastly, the theory that it is the nature of the matter to manifest itself. Swabhavavad. This is something new. Swabhava, it is by nature only the material appears as a given form. Now, this is theory we have not come across, but here it is introduced. They spring, etc., spring from Brahman functioning as Ishvara. So, Brahman not in itself, functioning. Functioning, when it is said, Maya is the Upadhi. When it is functioning. Reflecting, when you say, Maya is the reflecting medium. So, both are only two different approaches about the same thing. So, now functioning as Ishvara. The theory of nihilism, Shunyavad, is also smashed. When you say also smashed, it means all the other theory of Arambhavad, Parinamavad, all other theories by other schools of philosophy are smashed. This theory, Shunyavad, is also smashed when it is said, earlier theories are also smashed. So all the theories of creation as conceived by the other schools of philosophy, all those other schools, Charvaka, Nyayika, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, there are different essential philosophies are covered here. We have also covered that. And they are all smashed out, and his Acharya has introduced the theory of creation with Maya as a most effective factor. So it doesn't affect Brahman in itself, and it allows the world to be an illusory appearance. Now, when we have said on Paramatman, since Paramatman is reflection, the credit cannot be given to Paramatman, therefore it is given to Brahman. So Brahman is only for the namesake. Brahman is not even aware about this world and all these affairs going on. So because the reflection is delusory again, therefore Paramatman credit is ultimately goes to Brahman. But when it is said that world is a projection upon Brahman, we need to understand the Brahman is not there to receive the world because there is nothing second to it. Therefore, one level down we have to come, and then the Paramatma, and it contains that pure knowledge. So, pure existence, pure knowledge is next. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma is the next level. At the top level, we cannot talk about it, cannot discuss because it is absolute. So now we have to see how then, what is the material cause. So here it is said it is Maya. So now that we have to come to this paragraph, the next one, that is 13th. Since Ishvara creates the world of plurality with the help of his Maya power, and since the very material cause, Upadana Karana, is Maya only, this is a special part. And the theories of creation, such as all those theories, spring from Brahman functioning as Ishvara. The theory of nihilism is also smashed with the help of Maya. Maya Sahakari, Ishvara creates the world just as the juggler or the man of miracle yogi, Mayavi or yogi. Now see, the point is here, earlier it was said a seed in the first two lines, the Bijasya Ankura, Bijasya Ankura. So the seed sprouting out and becoming a big tree. But in the seed, if you dissect the seed, nothing will be seen. But all potential possibilities of the trees are there in the seed. Now this example is on one side, and the Mayavi juggler or the yogi, the miracle, one who is performing miracles, etc. They have created like this, like Mayavi or the yogi, this world is created by Paramatma. So these two examples, one side the seed sprouting out, and on other side here the Mayavi and yogi creating the creation. This creation is created by yogi, like yogi or a juggler. Mayavi is on one side, and earlier first two lines says that this world is like a sprout out from the seed. They are not matching. So we have to see this first. So the para does not say anything special, but it tells us that Maya is a very key point. Maya is the material cause. Only this point we have to discuss in this para. Because theories, etc., they are all smashed out, overruled by Acharya in his theory, where Maya becomes a very critical point. So he says, earlier we were saying that Brahman is the Upadana Karanam, right? Brahman is Upadana Karanam, and it contains Maya is the Nimitta Karanam, the pot maker with the help of pot maker and the mud, etc. We have seen, and they are all rolled in one in case of creator. Now here we have to see something else. Here it is said Maya is the Upadan Karanam, not Brahman. Now, what way the Maya is the Upadan Karanam? That's the only point to be discussed. And we have discussed this earlier. Therefore, now only we have to fit in the proper sequence. Now it has come. Here the statement says that Maya is the Upadan Karanam. With the help of Maya, Maya as Sahakari, auxiliary means, and Ishvara creates the world just as the juggler. So here in this, the material cause, Upadana Karan, Maya only. In this paragraph it is said, the first statement. First sentence says, since Ishvara creates the world of plurality with the help of his Maya power, and since the very material cause is Maya only. So Maya is a material cause. Then now tell how the Maya becomes the material cause. What is that material?
The consciousness.
No. Those ideas are to be kept aside. That's how the Acharya, it is very difficult for us to understand his logic, but he is presenting Advaita philosophy in which the absolute Brahman is kept untouched and the world as such has to be connected. So Maya is introduced in between, saying it is the material cause and it is the efficient cause rolled in one. So then, what is the material cause? Here only material cause referred, therefore I am asking material cause. I am not talking about efficient cause. Efficient cause you can say as consciousness or awareness, the efficient cause. But material cause, what is the material cause?
Sankalpa.
No.
Prakriti.
Close to the answer. Further.
Panchamahabhuti.
No.
Trigun.
Very good.
Very good.
He first Prakriti and Panchamahabhuta. He jumped. In between he left a gap for Mohini to fill it. Trigunatmika Prakriti is the material cause. We have discussed this several times that all objects in the world are consisting of three gunas. There is a mix-up of three gunas. No one is absolutely sattvic or absolutely rajasic or absolutely tamasic. all of them have a mixture of three gunas. Therefore, these three gunas become the material cause.
But then we are calling three gunas as Maya.
Yes, because Shvetashvara Upanishad says that Prakriti, Mayam tu Prakritim Viddhi, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. There, Mayin word is introduced as Maheshwara and Maya is introduced as Prakriti. And we have already seen in the chart, Prakriti is of three gunas. First in potential and balance, then the balance disturbed, they come out. Then the pure sattva, malina sattva, and then otherwise the tamo guna pradhana maya, sattva guna pradhana maya. So there all three gunas are only playing the whole in the whole creation as material.
Guruji, do gunas have independent existence or they must always be associated with something?
Yes, that is right. So gunas are not independent. They belong to Prakriti. Prakriti is equal to Maya, and Maya is inseparable power of Brahman. Therefore, Brahman, whole credit goes to Brahman, but Brahman is not involved in the creation. That is the beauty of it. Acharya's Advaita Vad is very, very difficult, because if he has argued with all the rest of the schools of philosophy and established it logically, they have no arguments against this, because till that the discussion went on and based on the scriptural authority only and the logic. So he has introduced this Maya element like this. Now
So the problem came because we tend to being guna, we associate it with something. So buddhi can have the triguna, mind can have triguna, all that is understandable. Pancha Mahabhutas can have gunas, but without anything to rest itself, do gunas have independent existence?
No,
Okay.
never it is said that it is independent. Now,
Okay.
for one of the name of Ganesha is Gunadhisha. Ganadhisha, similarly Gunadhisha also. Then Gunathita is also there, Gunadhisha is also there. So the Gunadhisha means one who rules over the gunas.
And that I understand. Like, for Guru also we say Gunatitam, Bhavatitam, Triguna Rahitam, Sadgurum Tamnavami, that also we say.
So no, Triguna Rahitam is different. Bhavatitam is different. It is Brahman. Guru is equal to Brahman.
Yeah.
And here it is Gunadhisha. When it is said, he is ruling over the gunas.
Controller.
He is controlling. Controller.
Okay.
It is related to the total ahankar. At a Vaishvik level, the ahankar, Ganapati represents to that. So, gunas are not left to themselves, they are controlled.
नाही कंट्रोल ते ठीक आहे त्याला अधिष्ठान कशाच तरी असणं आवश्यक होतं आहे असा समज होता.
That is what you asked, no? That is what I am saying.
अधिष्ठानाशिवाय शक्य नाही.
So this immediate adhishtanam is the Ishvaraha, the Lord, the God, etc. They are the controlling factor of three gunas. Here, so Maya is a material cause. When it is said Maya means Prakriti, they are equated in that Shvetashvatara Upanishad. It is equated Mayam tu Prakritim Viddhi, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. So this Prakriti, and Prakriti we know it is Trigunatmika. First having a Guna Samya Sthiti, that is all the three gunas in balance. Then the balance is disturbed, and this is all in the presence of Paramatma. Please note, all these gunas, their balance is disturbed and they are able to manifest all gunas because of the grace of Paramatma. When you say the infinite light of awareness as its content, this light itself means a manifestation. Light of awareness, light of consciousness. And this hastens the creation or projection of this Prakriti or Maya. Therefore, the graced by the Paramatma and made possible by the light of awareness and light of consciousness in series, in steps, the creation is possible. So those first the gunas in balance. Awareness, the Paramatma takes a note of total vasanas and appreciates the need that they should be exhausted. Then the awareness starts working on that. So the grace of Paramatma and the accelerating or encouraging aspects of awareness and consciousness together makes the creation possible. Otherwise, by itself, it cannot be. That Swabhavavada is that gunas by themselves take the shape of names and forms, etc., is not possible because it is inert and insentient material. By itself, the mud cannot raise itself to become the pot. But there are stages. So the first the mud, then it is made into a ball of mud, and then the ball of mud is put on the wheel, and then it becomes a pot. So this whole process is there in we see in the world, this process is operative. So similarly here also, the first thing is that they recognize totality vasana, total vasanas are recognized by Paramatman, and then his own power, that is Maya, here in the name of Prakriti, with three gunas in potential. Then the Prakriti gets, when graced by Paramatma, the balance is disturbed and Prakriti can become manifest now. So then first, the Sattva Guna Pradhana Maya, Tamo Guna Pradhana Maya in the chart. In the Sattva Guna, again, Shuddha Sattva, Malina Sattva. This is systematically explained. How the gunas get manifest once the balance. Now, otherwise, there is no chance for them in the balance condition. How can they get disturbed? They will remain in balance. But when Paramatma recognizes that they are available as unmanifest and they must be exhausted, vasanas must be exhausted. So when this is appreciated or recognized, then the Maya starts working on it, or Prakriti starts working. Then the balance is disturbed, and then Sattva Guna on one side, Tamo Guna on other side, and their attraction and repulsion creates Rajoguna in between. All this systematically explained. And majority aspect of it is taken from Sankhya only. Advaita Vedanta doesn't have its own independent thing. All some aspects of the Lord, other philosophies are taken. Only lastly, Advaita is capped on as a crown. So here, Maya is a special indication, special factor that is introduced by Acharya to establish Advaita philosophy. That Advaita is the ultimate truth. And if it is Advaita without a second, how this creation has come into being where there is a multiplicity and variety? Then he has to explain. So Maya is a factor which is a critical one, and this factor explains why and wherefore of the creation. And then it is connected to that Maya being inherent power of Brahman. Maya independently cannot do anything. Like you said that gunas cannot do independently anything. So Maya also cannot do independently. Therefore the credit is given to Brahman. Otherwise Brahman has nothing to do with it, not aware of it. So this is also very important aspect, that Trigunas don't perform independently. They are first recognized in their potential balance form by Paramatma. This recognition gives them the power to manifest. So the balance is disturbed. When they manifest, a very systematic flow chart is there for the creation, how we have come up to the level of forms, by Tamoguna, Panchikarana, then the subtle body with the help of prana as well as the sattva aspect, and finally the causal body has potential for these two, subtle and gross. All that is systematically developed. That chart you should often you should refer to that chart. So you will come to know, as we are getting here the additional point, new point. You can correlate them with the chart.
Sir, Maya is introduced only in Vedanta philosophy, Advaita philosophy. Maya, there is this word is not there in other philosophy.
No, word may be there, but Maya is taken as the critical factor in explaining the why and wherefore of creation. Now, the Sankhya philosophy, next to Advaita, Sankhya philosophy talks about 24 principles, tattvas. Okay, and 25th is Atman. So all those 24 are only nothing but products of Maya only, basically, Prakriti only. How this factor is played as a very critical factor, so that one way Brahman is isolated, is not concerned or referred to the creation, and the other way its power is working everything, Maya.
Yes.
So we will not go in details because it is very, very critical and difficult for us to absorb that. He has to fight with all the schools of philosophy, including nihilism of the Buddhists and the Kshanika Vijnanavad of the Buddhists. All that he has fought and established. It's not that he has suppressed somebody. He was very polite and very understandable, understanding others' views and trying to convince them in a very soft manner, soft language, referring to the quotations of the scriptures and then adding to his own logic on that as approved by the scripture. With this, very, very, when you say argument, it is not a hot arguments at all. It is very cool. And that is why one of the conditions that Saraswati, the Sureshwaracharya, earlier Mandan Mishra's wife, she has put this condition to put the garlands in their neck. One whose garland gets faded is defeated. Because that itself means, as our Swamiji says about our group discussions, let there be more light than heat in the discussion. So no hot argument. We are trying to understand. Therefore, there should be more light than heat. Now, if arguments go on the in the heated argument, then that heat will help the flowers fade. So the mala, the Sureshwaracharya's mala was also faded, but Acharya has not only taken that to capitalize his victory. He has convinced him, and to that extent, a condition that if Acharya wins over, the other party will become disciple and follow him. Therefore, he joined him and became a sannyasi. And he got the Shungari Pujya also to rule over. So that is basically Maya is already, it was in use, but as one of the factors. But he has made it as a critical factor to establish Advaita philosophy. That ultimate truth is only one without a second. There is no second to it at all. And if you are finding second Dvaitam, and if you are finding multiplicity and variety as Nanatvam, then it is all due to Maya. He has managed to put that. So that is why that aspect we won't go. It's not our capacity to go there and understand. But here we are saying material cause as Maya. When we see it is called Prakriti. Trigunatmika Prakriti is the material cause. And the consciousness, awareness aspect is the efficient cause. Therefore, again rolled in one. the upadana, nimitta upadana abhinna karanam. They are all rolled in one. In case of pot and pot maker, the pot maker is a efficient cause, nimitta karanam, and the mud is the material cause. They are different. They are not same. But in case of Prakriti, in Advaitavad, it is said that Maya is a material cause and itself an efficient cause. And then the Maya cannot be given full credit because she is not independent. It depends because it is the inherent power of Brahman. Therefore, the ultimate credit goes to Brahman. Otherwise, Brahman is not at all involved or concerned about it. We'll stop here. It was a great discussion, though participated by only 2-3. But this is something that exercise for our thinking capacity for the intellect is very, very necessary. And all these 10 verses, 8 verses at least, are a good exercise for our reflecting power. It will improve definitely. Now, what exactly is hinted at when you use particular term is we must be able to say that, and this book will help us in that. Let us see. We'll stop here. I'll conclude with the prayer. Yasya prasadadahamev Vishnu Mayeva sarvam parikalpitancha Itham vijanami sadatmarupam Tasyangri padmam pranatosmi nityam Tasyangri padmam pranatosmi nityam Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om, sir.